Hi everyone, I'm Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance, and today we're going to do clue 3 from the Puzzle Mystery Quilt through Cotton Cuts. This is the Carnival theme, and I'm making this small quilt. You can't get this anymore, but there will be another round coming up, I'm sure, soon. As always, I made a scrappy version of this too, which I'll show you in a little bit. Now today's puzzle pieces, I guess is what you call it, are long and skinny, so that presents some more challenges too as we get started with this. As always, I count out my pieces, make sure I have them all, and I have them here on these trays. Also, I stopped using the alphabetties just because I found these really cool things. Are these neat? These are little stickers that go on to the clips, and I can just put them on there, and that keeps everything nice and organized. I also have my half square triangle labels ready to go, which I made up so I could keep everything organized. As before, we're not going to go in order. We're just going to start doing the things that made sense in my brain. So if you're a very orderly person, have to do them in order, absolutely do it that way. But for me, this just makes sense. On the screen now, you'll see a list of our half square triangles and what we need to make. So I'm going to match them up right now. And we are only working with the half square triangles right now. We're not going to be working with these other pieces yet. So let's get these ready to go. Okay, I have them all in sets and ready to go. And as you can see, I have them labeled. And on the labels, I even have an arrow showing which way I'm going to press them. It's a little bit of prep work ahead of time, but I like it because it allows me to know what goes with what, and it makes it a little bit easier. Currently, I still don't know what colors are what letters right now. I'm sure after a few more months, I'll know it, but right now I don't. So this really, really helps. Next, we're going to take these to the sewing machine. We're going to use a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. A scant 1/4 inch seam allowance is just a little bit tinier than a 1/4 inch. Another thing I want to point out is I did not clip anything on this edge. This is our bias edge, and I don't want to do anything that's going to distort that at all. So I would not put any clips on that. All of our half square triangles are all sewn together, and I clipped the labels right on them. I also pressed them, and I knew how to press them because I had a little notation here to myself. Now it's time to start building. And to do that, we're going to take our AB unit, because this is our first step on the 3A section. So we're going to make 2 of the 3A section. And we are going to take F, which right here, I love that I have this labeled, and they go on this side. Let me move this up so it's on camera. This is really important because you want to make sure that the B fabric is facing to your bottom right. This particular clue or sets or whatever you want to call them, strips that we are making, can get really confusing because the configuration of the half square triangles needs to be right. So we want to make sure that we always are paying attention to that. That's really important. We are going to put right sides together, and I like to clip them just so when I get to the machine I can line them up real well. You can pin them too if you want. I'm just going to use this clip even though it's F, not a big deal. And I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch down this side. I know it's this side because this is the side I put the clip on. I'm going to do that and I'll meet you right back here. And I'm going to move my pressing mat here. It says to press towards the new piece. So I'm going to set my seams first. Move, this one's a little off. I might have to resew that one. And then I'm just going to open to that new piece. Let's see how far off this one is. Let's see. You know what? The time it's going to take me to fix this is going to save me a world of problems. So I'm just going to seam rip it or unsew. Press that out again. All right, much, much better. So these are both pressed to the correct side, which I think the configuration's like this. Now we're going to sew the D unit onto this side. So let me find the D unit. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second so we can line this up. That's right here. We're going to sew them to this side. So we're just going to flip it right sides together. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just clip it so I know which side I'm sewing on, and sew a 1/4 inch. Scant 1/4 inch. I keep saying 1/4 inch. Scant 1/4 inch. I'm doing scant 1/4 inch throughout this. All right, we're going to set our seams. And the directions say to press out towards the new piece. It's really important, these directions on pressing, because it does make a difference when we're matching things up, and I have a feeling that's going to be the way it is throughout this. So when we go to put our puzzle together after we have all 10 together, that pressing probably is going to come in handy, or at least that's my guess. All right, so this unit is ready to go. These we're just going to set up here. And next we're going to take the BE units, these two, and we're going to take both of them and lay them out because we're going to make 2 at a time again. Move that up so you can see. And then we need this one, the B unit. And this goes to this side. So we're going to put right sides together, clip them so when I'm at the machine. You could also always pin. That's okay too. And we're going to sew a scant 1/4 inch down each edge. And we're pressing our seams and we are pressing towards the new piece. Setting our seams, I mean. Now we sew, I'm gonna move this out of the way. We sew this to this and this to this. Okay. So when things get long like this, I like to pin because it makes it a little bit more stable. And I also like to clip. Things can get wonky and out of square really easily with long pieces like this. What's really nice is these two nest, so that makes it a little easier. There's still some bulk. So I clip down here. I just want to make sure everything's nice and straight, and it is. Then I'll put a pin in here. I'm going to do the same for the other one too. Okay, this one's cut a little off, so be careful with stuff like that. Make sure you notice stuff like that. I can still use this piece, of course, but I'm going to go 1/4 inch in, a scant 1/4 inch in, and it'll be in the seam allowance, that little off edge. My guess is they're cut by a machine, right? They wouldn't cut these all by hand. I wouldn't think so. Okay, now we're going to sew a scant 1/4 inch down those edges. It is time to press. We're going to take our clips off, set our seams, and these go towards this piece, this F piece. I'm going to press the whole thing. Looking good. There it is. That is our piece 3A. Now it does give us the measurements on these, so we can go in and trim these up if we want to, or make sure they're the right size, which is always a good idea. We don't want to be doing that on month 10 and then having to have all that work of squaring everything up. So next we're going to do 3B. Let's get started on that. All right, we are low on pieces. That's good. So we're going to do 3B. Yes, 3B, that's our next step. The next step is tricky. You need to pay attention. So we're going to take our AD unit and our A units, and we're going to make 4 blocks, but they're going to be opposites. So we are going to put them like this. And can we talk a moment about this unit? All right, I got this for free. I got this whole kit for free. I think you all know that. There's no contrast here. This really bugs me. You know how I feel about tones and values and everything of fabrics. I think it makes the quilt. Overall, I love this. I love it. But this stuff, to me, it's silly. We'll see. I could be totally wrong. It could just be a little bit of sparkle in the quilt. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, back to the block. So we are going to put the A triangle of the half square triangle, I know it's hard to tell, right on the right side of this one for 2 of them only. And then we are going to clip them, and actually, you know, I'm going to glue these because I don't want to mess this up. All right, let me get my glue. You've seen me show this stuff before. This is the acorn glue. It's just going to keep me from really messing up, I think. So I'm just going to put a couple drops on. This one, this unit, we are doing the opposite way. You'd think it wouldn't matter, that you just flip them around, but you wouldn't. Got a string on me there. You'd think that, but you wouldn't, okay? You'd be wrong. They are different, which we'll see when we're done. Yeah, so the A going down, again, hard to tell. Don't get me started. Daisy says hello. And we're doing the same with this one. Now I'm going to sew these using a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, these are sewn. We are pressing. Let me just double check. I think it's to the big piece, so to the bigger side. And you can see how they're different? They are different pieces. Not that it matters much because there's no contrast, but that's okay. We're trusting the process. Here they are. Now we do the next section, which is basically a flying geese. We're taking our A and E unit and our A and C units. And again, we need to make sure that we pay attention to the orientation. So this is our A and C, so this needs to go over here. This is our A and E. And the printed parts, not the neutral background, are the ones that go to the inside. So just like that. And we're going to sew these together, right sides together, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And this is nice because they nest. We are pressing these towards E. Okay, now we're going to put these together. Again, it gets a little tricky. So we're going to take one of these units with the D facing that way. One of these units, ooh, that's a little off. I might have to fix that. And one of these units with D facing that way. And we're gonna sew these together. And I'm gonna show you in the scrap version because you just can't see it on this, and that bugs me. Okay, here you go. Here's my scrap example, so you can really see what it's supposed to look like. All right, so I'm gonna sew these together. We're gonna do that twice, and then we are done with these units for this clue. I'll put them up on the board and show you what they look like. And I'll show you both pieces, all 4 pieces. I think it's 4 pieces of the scrap unit too. All right, so you can see this is leaning, so forgive me. It's just a foam board that's up against this, so it's kind of wobbly. But you can see the difference. Not thrilled about this one, but you know what? That's the way it goes. You know, you don't know, and you're learning and experiencing, and maybe I'll absolutely love it when it's all done. On the screen now, you'll see all of the pieces of the funnel cake version through cotton cuts, and they're starting to look really pretty. I'm curious as to how they're gonna go together. And on the screen now, you'll see my version of all the scrappy pieces. If you haven't seen my other videos on this, all I did was measure the pieces and then made scrap versions of the blocks. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. See you again for another video soon. And for puzzle piece number 4, I'll see you in November. Oh my goodness, in November. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.